jueves, Edwin Bobby.
July what?
21st. We're number 5.
Wait, July 21st, precinct 4, no? No, 29? Opening?
9th. For the 2 projects.
Which is Tower.
It's mile 17 and a half in Tower is the name of the project.
Yeah.
And then you have Hohen Road or Hohen Drain and road improvement to drainage. Hohen Drainage.
Going.
Road drainage. Area drainage improvement.
Okay.
This one, the Tijerina, was issued July the 1st. 7
Okay.
And like I said,
I just want, right now, I know the weirs are, that's fine, but I want the rural.
yes.
We got anything precinct 3? Hey, Nora.
Morning.
Good morning. Bárbaro. Quiero otro work authorization for engineering, pero cálmate, chief. Ay, me acuérdate bien, por favor. What we got?
Everything's good.
Good.
We have a worksheet to show you.
Good. I'm glad I heard. So I want to sit down so I can present it to the board. Good. Good.
No, no. Right now it's kind of difficult. We need to find
We want to welcome you this morning to this regular meeting of our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, July the 7th, 2015. President R. Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Flores, Precinct 3, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Judge. If I may, the prayer. Let us pray. Father God, I give you thanks for another day that you've given us, Lord. Thank you for the clear weather that we've had and that we're going to continue to have, Lord, to allow us to address all our drainage issues that we've encountered in the past few weeks, Lord. Thank you for the wisdom that you provided to this court, to myself, my staff, and all the county leaders as well. Continue to do that, Lord. Continue to guide this board, that they may continue to make decisions that is for the betterment of the county, Lord. I ask all this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Anyone sign up?
Open forum, anyone? No, sir.
All right, then let's proceed to the consent agenda. Any concerns?
Laura? Concerns?
No, sir, no concerns.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 5.
Thank you, sir. Discussion on the Delaware County Drainage District #1 projects, maintenance and operations. Just a quick overview. We've been working, obviously we worked through the floods and after the floods to identify those areas that were severely affected by the heavy rains. Currently in Precinct 1, we have a couple of projects that one of them is almost complete on the rural drainage development. Spanish Palm is about 90% complete. That'll help that area tremendously once it's finished up. And then Tijerina is one of the developments there that also is usually affected by heavy rains, and that we issued notice to proceed July 1st, so we should have some construction here soon. Delta West as well is one of the projects that will be including some drainage improvements to help that community and that area out. Precinct 4, we have Tower Road and mile 17 and a half area drainage improvement projects that has also been already put out for bid. And that's an area that does have experienced some flooding, and a crossing on Tower Road, that'll be part of the improvements. Yeah. And then we have Hohen Road drainage area improvements as well, which is one of the big projects that that Precinct 4 has been working on for quite some time to provide sewer to that project, but this project that we're letting out under rural drainage development will provide drainage for that area, not just the subdivision itself, but the surrounding area. So that'll be a big improvement for that area, and God willing, once that is done, we'll be able to handle the drainage area much better. So those are just some projects that we are addressing. We have also identified, like I said, areas that had flooded between Alamo, Trenton, and Alberta, which is one of the heaviest hit area. My staff internally has been conducting some field reconnaissance and topographic information gathering, and we believe we've identified ways to get those areas out of water into our Trenton drain. So we're moving forward with that, and God willing, within 90 days or so, we'll have something in the ground, starting to put improvements in the ground to better handle these rains when we do encounter them again. And that's all I have, Judge and Commissioners.
All right, sir. Next item?
Item 6, requesting approval to add one 4G mobile broadband plan through the district membership with DIR contract number DIR SCD 1779 with Verizon Wireless for the following. It's unlimited data plan for the Trimble survey equipment that we have for $37.99 per month.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7, 2013 bond series, approval of closing documents for parcel 50 of J09 Drainage Project and authorization for the board chairman to execute the same. The amount for that is $151,545, and the legal on that property is a 7.654 acre tract of land, more or less, out of 473.96 acre tract of land out of lots 18, 19, and 20, Block A, Retama Acres Subdivision, Delaware County, Texas, recorded in Volume 9, page 46. This is part of the J09 project. As soon as we acquired this, I was visiting with Precinct 4 about trying to excavate this area as a detention while we work on the eastern parcels that will ultimately provide the outfall, but this is one of the areas that was heavy hit during the previous rainstorm that we had on Rio Grande Care Drive north of Monte Cristo. So once we put this independent or this temporary detention in place now, that would help accommodate a lot of drainage water, will help that area a lot, and eventually interconnect to our J09 outfall, which will be a big improvement for that area.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8 is approval to enter an agreement with Lower Grand Development Council as it pertains to 2011 amendments to Region M water plan. This is part of the Precinct 1, the project that we're working on, the reclamation, Delta Area Reclamation Project. We had some comments back from the Water Development Board, so we're just asking authorization to enter into an amendment to the contract with Region M to be able to continue the current agreement we have with the current firm that's addressing that issue, and so we can respond to Water Development Board and their comments and be able to continue with the application process.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 9, request approval to issue manual payment. The following items such review and audit procedures are complete. Application for payment number 3, final in the amount of $8,703.90 from RDH Siding Concrete LLC related to construction contract number ACDD 1-14010-0506, Precinct 2, Rural Drainage Development, Seminole Valley Subdivision Area Improvements, Project Engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation. Everything's in order.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item B, request approval to accept certificate of construction completion from RDH Siding Concrete LLC related to construction contract number ACDD 1-14010-0506, Precinct 2, Rural Drainage Development, Seminole Valley Subdivision Area Improvements, Project Engineer R. Gutierrez
Move for
Engineering.
approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 10, requesting approval to enter into 3-year lease agreement for 2 Dell Venue 11 Pro laptop computers to the district membership with DIR contract number DR SCD 1951 Dell computers for an amount of $87.36 per month.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
At this time, I don't have any items for executive session, sir.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Those
Thank
in
you.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Surprising on the
What's this tax?
¿A qué te enojas?
And then I bought some 18 doughs from Costco. It saves me a lot of years.
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to the regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, July the 7th, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessings and your guidance. In your name we pray.
Amen.
I would ask for you to stand, please remain standing for a moment of silence for a gentleman that passed away from the eastern part of the county, Mr. Fred McCaleb.
Yes, Charles McCaleb, Frederick McCaleb Jr. was known as Papa Fred. He was born in Corpus Christi and opened a funeral home in 1963 with his parents there in Weslaco. He was married to Bernie for 52 years. He earned several awards: Outstanding Citizen of Weslaco, Rio Grande Valley Walk of Fame recipient, Man of the Year. He sat on several boards: Hidalgo County Rural Ambulance Board, served as the chairman of the Weslaco Chamber, was the Christmas Parade Committee, Chamber Ambassador Red Coat, Catholic War Veterans, Knights of Columbus, NAP Medical Center Foundation Board President, Weslaco Crime Stoppers. He was a member of the Lions Club, Elks Club Lodge, served as the Exalt Ruler, responsible for starting the shrimp boil. He will be greatly missed by the community.
Thank you. All right, under open forum. Well, before we get to open forum, we need to take up an item that I've advised the parties that there will not be any action taken, but they still wanted to make a very brief presentation. That's item number 8D as in David, on page 2 of 8. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding automated assignment of cases filed in JP courts. On that issue, we have our Justice of the Peace, Jerry Munoz, and Justice of the Peace, Bobby Contreras.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, and guests. My name is...
excuse me.
Yeah.
We've already advised Judge Munoz that we're not going to be taking any action, but he would like to address us so that we can start getting familiar with the issue.
Okay. Good morning, Judge. Good morning. As I was saying, I'm the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 2, Place 2, and thank you for allowing me here this morning to participate in this morning's meeting. My purpose here this morning is to petition your help towards improving the justice system in Hidalgo County. Our state and federal courts are organized by a random computer assignment system. As an attorney, I cannot individually select where I'm going to file my individual lawsuit. The computer system equalizes the workload among the multiple courts and prohibits litigants from targeting any particular court. Random court assignment protects our court system and participating parties. The concern here this morning is that the random computer program applies to each and every court in Hidalgo County, but it does not operate in our justice courts. Instead, litigants and attorneys are permitted to pick and choose where they wish to file their lawsuit. Now, arbitrary selection of a court jeopardizes the very court system, the parties, and it jeopardizes the court staff. Our county local rules, which were adopted in 1999 and recognized and further adopted by the State Supreme Court in 1999, mandates in Rule 1.1 that all lawsuits be randomly assigned to courts within the court system. Now, I am in no way arguing or even suggesting that any unfair or unethical action has taken place in any one justice court. My efforts here this morning are solely to solicit your support and expand the various computer system that Hidalgo County uses in all the rest of the courts to the justice courts in Hidalgo County. Your vote of approval will mandate each and every lawsuit filed in our justice court be processed and assigned randomly between the justice courts of a particular precinct, that is. Only then will the entire playing field be level for the citizens and the court staff. My courtroom is open every morning at 8 o'clock. My staff members maintain operations right through the lunch hours. We accept filings even by fax past the 5 o'clock hour, but even then, for some reason, the caseload isn't equal, and that concerns me, and it should concern everybody, because in my opinion, courts are being specifically targeted, and that's unfair to the parties, it's unfair to the litigants, and it's unfair to the staff. In addition to being here this morning, I've also requested and received clearance from Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office to transfer files between justice courts. Transferring files isn't anything new to Hidalgo County. Courts do that all the time. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I delivered a blank order to my neighboring court asking, you know what, there's an uneven number of caseload between the courts. Send me half the caseload randomly, if you will, and that way the workload can be equal for the courts, it can be equal for the staff, and there can't be any arbitrary selection of courts. I really appreciate your time this morning in bringing this issue to light and to your attention. I understand that requests have been made to hold off on any decision this morning, and I respect that. I'll get with my colleagues to see how we can work this system out, but it is something that needs to be corrected because, as I've indicated, back in 1999, our Board of Judges adopted a set of local rules which mandated that all files be randomly selected between the courts. That was approved and adopted by the State Supreme Court in 1999. All I'm trying to do is expand the very system that we have in place to the justice courts. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
And does anybody have any questions? I'm more than free to answer any questions you would like or have. If not, you can reach me individually on my phone.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Judge Contreras?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I kind of concur with Judge Munoz. The only thing is I was not aware of it. You know, we do have a large caseload. I think some of you saw the figures there. And we need to do something. And I know that Judge Munoz has a young staff, new staff, and a lot of people, you know, I guess I'm the old timer here that, you know, they come and file in my court more often. But anyway, we're working together. I'm open. Anything that can help us alleviate the workload would be fine. But before you all take any action or anything, I would like to get some input from the other JPs, see if they're experiencing the same problems that we are. But we're working good together, and it's just a matter that, you know, a lot of people are filing more cases in my court than they are with Judge Munoz. But he is working, and he's doing a good job for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Renan, I think this is going to depend a lot on your services, your ability to do what they're requesting, what they may be requesting and will be considering.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just to address your question, Judge, absolutely, we stand at the ready. We would need to figure out the logistics and any changes and we're about to change our criminal justice system in a month. So we would need to figure out a timeline, logistics, and then just what cases apply, but I'm confident that we can get it resolved if we've got the proper resources in place. And there is some disparity in some of the other courts as well. We've been looking at the numbers. We ran a report on civil filings, and then separately we also have this disparity on the tickets, the DPS files, but Mr. Guerra and I are going to address that issue with DPS.
Right. I will be reaching out to DPS with respect to the citation portion of it. Obviously, the civil or the criminal side is beyond Renan and I.
Right.
I have my suspicions as to how this is occurring in that particular area. But again, with respect to DPS, we will be addressing that, but that's on the citation side.
And that changes.
All
Right
right.
now, DPS is filing manually, and
Right.
we're fixing to begin automated.
Automated.
So that should balance it out.
Yeah, and for the court's information, we did have a meeting with the DPS Captain De La Garza 3 weeks ago or
About
so.
3 weeks ago, yes, sir.
So it was just right before your meeting, Judge.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we proceed on to open forum. First presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. When Joe died, the law ruled this divorce case must be brought to closure by the court. Since that has not happened, explanation and clarification from the court is necessary. Court actions resulted in our debt-free real estate, which is private property, being awarded to 2 corporations. Then the court selling from the corporations to the City of Mission some of our land for a street. How many local mayors, city officials, individuals connected to the court, therefore this case, are investors or shareholders in these 2 corporations? Also, the court's consideration of 2 community properties with court-appointed beneficiaries, trustees, and successors, a 15-year amortized scheduled promissory note with police-enforced false imprisonment, and a court-appointed manager for our community property. Nowhere in any of these court actions do I find a divorce settlement between Joe and me. All I see is a takeover of all of our debt-free community property on the foundation of a petition for divorce. By keeping the case open and ongoing, the court is just kicking the can down the road to see what they can do in the future, as when both of the owners are gone, to keep for a payment of nothing our undivided community property. An accurate boundary line between landowners is very important. Years ago, beginning at the river and progressing north, land was measured, divided into lots, numbered, and designated boundary lines marked securely with permanent markers. I have been aware of some problems when boundary lines were in question. Always, both landowners using these official permanent boundary markers wanted the boundary line to be established and accurate. Not in this case, just kick the can down the road. Speculate means to gamble or to risk. Real estate speculators have constructed a strip mall on land that belongs to the estate of Joe Billman and me, evidently speculating that by using buildings, they're taking over our land for free. Laws exist that prohibit this blatant theft of land that belongs to us. The buildings belong to the real estate developers. An undivided 1/2 of the land belongs to the heirs of the estate of Joe Billman. The other undivided 1/2 is my community property. I own it. The builders can take their buildings. If the buildings remain on our land, the buildings belong to the landowners, and there are 4 of us. That is Texas state law. Thank you.
Is Fern McClarity?
Commissioners, I am here to correct a statement that I made during the last meeting. I stated that Bobby Guerra created a bill to terminate the health care funding district. This is the program that allows hospitals to contribute into a pool, and the money is used to match federal and state funding. My comments were not correct. Bobby Guerra created a bill to terminate a section of the bill that would terminate the program in 2016. Therefore, the health care funding district will continue. But Senator Chuy Hinojosa added a section to his bill, Senate Bill 1623, that would terminate the program in 2016. So if the health care district fails, Bobby Guerra will proceed with his bill to continue the program, and if it fails, Juan Hinojosa will terminate the program 2016. These are the types of games that our political officials are playing. Both of these alternatives are intended to place the private hospitals in a favorable position. We should be looking for the most favorable position for the people of Hidalgo County, and it is not the one that increases taxes. In reference to taxes, I am extremely pleased to tell you that there are a great number of people protesting their property values. During a previous commissioners' meeting, the appraisal district director stated that the average property value increase was 5%. The people standing in line were upset about a 15 to a 30% increase. What I wish to emphasize is that the people were angry about tax increases and their inability to access the board that was responsible for the policies that continue to increase the values of their property. The appraisal district board is appointed and represents the local governments and specific districts that benefit from increasing taxes. The answer is there is nothing people can do but pay the bill because the appraisal district board is appointed and not elected. When the county judge stated his office was getting calls about high property values, all he could say is this commissioner's court is not responsible for increasing property values. If you ask the appraisal district, their answer is we do not set the tax rate or collect taxes. So the taxpayers has no one to hold responsible. There is no one to tell that you need to stop this or we will elect someone else. This is exactly what is going to happen if the voters approve the creation of a health care district. Why would anyone think that anything could go wrong in the creation of a health care district that is governed by an unelected board and county commissioners who are receiving contributions to their campaign finance from the boards that are supposed to be overseeing? Also today, 13A, the people over that live on Taylor Road are asking that you not go in with the cities of Mission and McAllen to turn that road into a 5 or however many lanes. The people who live on that road do not want the road widened. They moved there because they live in the country and they want it to stay in the country and they want it to stay quiet and safe. I got phone calls. They're talking about this road is going to be widened to all these lanes, and then when it gets to 2 mile line, zoop, it goes right back into a 2-lane. I know that Ware Road is that way, and a lot of people have been killed and hurt. Think about the people that live along there. They would like to live safe. They'd like to get to town, to church, and get home safely. So don't just do this. Y'all vote for so many things, and it's really a good thing, but it really isn't for the people that live there. Thank you.
Ms. Fern, you also have 9B, 9C, and 9A of the consent agenda,
Yes, they didn't do the consent agenda.
but you can bring it up at this point under the public participation, under the open
Okay, well, I
forum.
don't have it in hand, but my question on that one is, by the time, I think it's year 2037, I'll be 88 years old. I don't know how many up there on the board, some of y'all are young, so I guess you'll still be here, but we don't quite understand about the TERS. I only can tell you about the one that I know in Edinburgh, because I personally live in Edinburgh. On Trenton and the expressway there wasn't any reason for anyone to put that. You had the Border Patrol building that was there, and of course, the sooner or later, buildings would go. Now we're looking at, and the county is paying the money back, and these people, I understood, I asked the commissioner today, and they said that the taxes on this property stops whenever y'all made the TERS. So the values are stopped at that point. And then if the values go up like everyone else's does, they don't have to pay that tax. So we're kind of concerned. For another 22 years, all those businesses are not going to be paying taxes like all the other people that are out there. So that was my question as to why. And like I say, if you're going to put a TERS, put it out where the land is absolutely worthless and you can get people to come. That wasn't that way for Trenton and Expressway. And like I say, for another 22 years, they don't pay. So that was my question, and usually when it's in consent, I can stand here and listen to you make the, answer the question.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Next presenter is Sared Garcia.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Sared Garcia, a longtime active member of La Unión del Pueblo Entero. and a resident of the city of Edinburgh, Precinct 4. This morning, I just want to say thank you to those of you who attend the La Unión del Pueblo Entero and Arise Public Light Conference on June 26 regarding the lighting legislation. I want to mention that we especially missed the presence of Mr. Palacios and Mr. Flores, who were unable to attend. Also, I need to give, the members, we need to give thanks to the state representatives, Armando Martinez, Sergio Muñoz, Juan Chuy Hinojosa, who helped us to pass this important bill. The light issue is very important to our communities, especially in the colonias. Now that we have a law to collect for the street light fees, we are looking forward to future public light meetings to see how we are going to proceed at the county level. Please don't forget La Unión del Pueblo and Arise in your next meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Eduardo Estrada.
Good morning. I've been living in the area near Cesar Chavez and Alberta for 10 years. I've never seen it as bad as it's got in regards to the flooding and the roadway damage. The two fairly new storm drains on my street failed in the first 48 hours on June the 19th and June the 20th. Our streets and lawns were in knee-deep water. As of 5 days ago, my neighbors were living with this filthy water in our ditches and on our streets. The gentleman from the Drainage District presentation just a little while ago stated to expect a 90-day work completion in certain areas. School starts in 40 days, and the roads will be carrying school buses and mom traffic. Given the millions of dollars in property damage, plus repairs, and hundreds of people ailing from waterborne illnesses, I think it takes audacity to say that the drainage system worked. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next presenter is Robert Lozoya.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner.
Morning.
I'm sure you read my petition. We're concerned that we live on Minnesota Road, 405, and next door to my daughter's property, they're trying to put a trucking company business in there, which the neighborhood or project going against that trucking business. 'Cause if you can see, I don't know, you're aware of the location, but the street is too narrow, it's one. Plus, having a business trucking there don't belong there. It's a resident. The people there are objecting to that proposal. The truck company coming in there is a business. The truck company belongs where is a commercial zone for a trucking business. So my question is here, as you can read my request, as the people signed their request as well. And I don't have too much information to fill you in more, but later in the near future, if you're willing to work with me, as the committee here too as well, and the Planning Commission Board. So this is all I got to say for now. If you'd like to request another meeting where we can have more information to fill you in, whatever you need, whatever your requests are, we'll be glad to fill you in more. Because the people there are risking their life because of the traffic. And according to one of the workers who works at the public safety over there in Nebraska, one of the guys that built their Minnesota road, I think it was 2.5 years, he's one of the ones, I'm not going to mention names. I talked to him yesterday, he said, I don't agree at all with that trucking there at all, because it's a resident, and like I said, that's as far as going to go up to now. If you have later to meet with the group and myself, that'd be fine, because this has to be stopped. According to TJ Arrondo said, The guy that built
What
that
road are you
place,
making reference to, sir?
sir?
Minnesota?
Minnesota, yeah, it's between Raul Longoria and I Road.
On the east, because there's a Minnesota on,
Going east, from the creek going east.
there's a Minnesota in precinct 3, and there's
Right.
one in precinct 2. All right, it's the one on the east side.
Well, I appreciate your time, and God bless you. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Last presenter is Doc Adams or Alan.
Good morning, and thank you, gentlemen, and ladies. Funny that that should have been mentioned, that there are children along the previous presenter's area, and about trucks. Because one of the things that I would like to mention as I present this material is that I have a great-grandson, 11, and also a neighbor right across the street that has 2 children who are elementary school and middle school age. So danger to the children is important as well in this secondary road condition on Old La Blanca North at the intersection of Sioux Road. Severe deterioration of the road at the intersection of Sioux Road and Old La Blanca Road South and the southwest corner of the property owned by me. Right there from my driveway to that intersection, there are 31 potholes. And the drivers are driving up on the berm that I had to prevent.
That was, can you tell us the road intersection, please?
Yes, the road intersection is Sioux Road. It's southwest corner of my property. Sioux Road and Old La Blanca, right there at that intersection. Now, going back to my driveway, which is about an acre, there are 31 potholes. The potholes range from 8 feet 10 inches long to about average of 3 feet across, and the depth of them is the average depth of the potholes is 5.5 inches, which in a small car is an axle breaker. Plus, the traffic on the road exceeds the speed limit, and they are now driving up onto my lawn, well, over the berm that the irrigation district put there to keep the water from rushing in and flooding my house. They're driving up over the berm, and I don't have a speed limit sign in my yard. Maybe I better put one there. But anyway, the speed limit along there is 30 miles per hour, and it is not being abided by. And someone even dug a trench in the berm to drain water that was collecting on Sioux Road. It wasn't a huge puddle, but it was a puddle, so that it could drain behind my berm. That berm was constructed in collaboration with the irrigation district to keep my house from being flooded. So these roads, both Sioux Road and Old La Blanca, will have bus traffic going in 40 days. And I think that it's not acceptable for people to destroy the berm and drive in my yard, but it certainly isn't acceptable to have the roads in this condition. Sioux Road, for the most part, is almost impassable, and certainly that stretch of Old La Blanca is virtually impassable. I thank you also, Precinct 1, for having let me know that you will be out there to view this and to make an assessment today. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
this time,
Judge, if I may, I have one more. Mr. Frederick Martin?
Morning, gentlemen. So I really don't, I kind of came here on short notice, but I am addressing the Taylor Road expansion project. It seems that every time the project comes up, it's when the Winter Texans and a lot of the locals can't make any of the meetings. Last time, I think it was in October before the winter Texans were down here. So about half the people that live on Taylor Road that will be affected by it, weren't able to voice their opinion. If we had this meeting in November, December, this place would be full to the gills. I mean, 1,000 people here complaining about how the project will affect not only Taylor, but Daffodil, which goes right through the middle of Adobe Wells. I live on Taylor, and as you know, Benson has recently been expanded to a 5-lane, and they reduced the speed limit to 40 miles an hour. About the time TxDOT decided to put out the sampling devices that gauge the road traffic, Taylor was increased to 45 about the time that Benson was decreased to 40. So people would rather take a road with a faster speed limit. Why Taylor, a small 2-lane, was increased to 45, I don't know. And why Benson, a big 5-lane superhighway, was decreased to 40, you have to figure that out on your own. But on either side of Taylor Road, Benson and Sherry are both 5 lanes with minimal traffic. And I think that the County of Hidalgo and the State of Texas, City of Mission, City of McAllen can spend all of our tax dollars on something that can help the community more than expanding a road that doesn't need to be expanded. It's a rural road. A lot of people live on Taylor Road for the reason that it's a small 2-lane road with houses with big lots and orchards, and it's a place that people like to live. And expanding it is going to force a lot of people out of there, especially a lot of the winter Texans, which locals love to have, spending tax dollars in our community. Adobe Wells will probably go away, and also the other winter Texan park south of 495, south of Business 83, which will cut into about 20 or 30 people's homes. So I just want to please put on the record that many of the people that live on Taylor Road are not here right now. Taxpayers are not here right now, and that if we held this at a later date, then they would be here. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we move on to item number 4, the approval of our consent agenda.
We don't have any concerns this week, Judge. I don't know if anyone else has concerns or wants to take items out of order, Judge. Balde?
Move for approval.
You don't have any concerns?
I would like to discuss item number 10A, the report and approval of emergency transfers for the period of June 1st, 2015 through June 29, 2015. I'm trying to get a feel for how much money's involved and where the money's coming from, and is this the money that we're going to be seeking to get reimbursed from FEMA?
Judge, we wanted to go ahead and take action on the consent agenda and then discuss 10A.
I'm sorry?
Do we want to take action on the consent agenda and pull 10A?
that one out?
All right.
You want to pull 10A, Judge?
Move for approval without 10A.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Sergio?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. That is not having to do with any of the flooding emergency transfers that we've done, the $1.2 million appropriation. These are funds that are come from contingency to fund different items that go about before that comes to the agenda. Usually when there's items on the agenda that haven't been funded, where there's a concern from the auditors, we'll prepare these emergency transfers. They either come from contingency or they come from the individual departments themselves, transferring from one object code to another. That's what this report is about, as far as the emergency transfers that have been approved.
How much money are we transferring?
Hold on real quick, Judge.
I looked at it, and my calculations revealed it was $2,212,698.65.
Yes, the report that we have attached doesn't have a cumulative amount, Judge. but it might be that. We do have each of the individual transfers listed on the report itself. And as I mentioned, these are not related to the flooding event. These are related mostly to transfers within departments or transfers for projects that have been approved by the court that we need to fund. Some of them are inclusive of personnel requests that departments approve a waiver, court approves them, and then it gets approved subject to funding. Then we do the emergency transfer afterwards.
I was under the impression that at least 1.4 million was related to flooding.
We do have some, but those are related to the 1.2 that was approved from the court. And then these are just moving from one object code to the other, whether they were put into supplies and they need to be into actually equipment capitalized. Those were those transfers that were approved, Judge.
And these monies are general fund monies, right?
Yes, these are all general fund transfers. Yes, Judge.
And are any of these going to be monies that we're going to be seeking to be reimbursed?
If they are for the water extraction event, then those would be reimbursed. Some of those are transfers for repairs of equipment. The actual repair would not be a reimbursable item. However, the use of that equipment, we would seek reimbursement on that. Some of these are not all reimbursable. Some of these are to fix equipment, maintainers, water trucks that get flats or that get damaged during the response to the event. So those individual repairs will not be, are not reimbursable by FEMA. Only the hourly use for that vehicle or for that equipment is reimbursable, Judge. So it will not be a dollar for dollar reimbursement. In some cases, it might be a $50 repair, but the hourly rate for that equipment might be $100, so we'll get more. In other cases, it might be less.
All right, sir.
What about water trucks?
Yes.
Some of my water trucks were hauling water for precinct 4, Judge.
Valde, do you have that?
Yeah, I have that number, Judge, Commissioners.
What's the total number, Valde?
The total number was $49,400. There was going to be an agenda item, but obviously the Commissioner's private business had to calculate that dollar amount for us. So I didn't place anything on the agenda because I didn't have a number to work with.
But you gotta understand, Valde, you need to let the public know that those $49,400 was my private sector, and I'm donating it to the county.
Right. It is a
which I will not get a penny from the county. My trucks were out there hauling water, helping precinct 2 and precinct 4.
That's right.
Precinct 4. Yes, there were 3 vacuum trucks that belonged to the precinct and 2 water trucks aside.
Right.
But I had 6 of my own personal water trucks hauling water, which totaled out to $49,400 with no charge to the county.
That is correct. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because, again, I didn't have a number, and we needed that number for the agenda item with respect to, because in essence, that becomes a donation from Commissioner's private business to the County of Hidalgo, and we needed that dollar amount.
And if I may, it was paramount for the assistance and the donation of Commissioner Flores to be able to give us those trucks. The benefits went to somewhere anywhere between 300 and 400 property owners in an area that we direly needed that service. So I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, and I'm certain all the residents, the generosity of Commissioner Flores to be able to donate his assets to help us with the recent rains.
Right. Again, and again, I will have a Commissioner's Court agenda for the formal portion of this. But again, I do want to reiterate, as the Commissioner said, because we did get a couple calls. Again, this was the Commissioner private business helped us in this endeavor with respect to the flooding that we had in the areas that were affected. And again, this came at no charge to the county. The Commissioner did this out of his own private business to help the county.
Make sure we get an agenda item, Valde, so we can formally express our gratitude and point out for the community, especially the residents of Precinct 2 and 4 that were directly helped by this assistance. A total of $49,400 of monies that could have been billed to the county but are not being billed.
Correct.
And are being, in fact, contributed by Commissioner Joe Flores, which we certainly need to acknowledge.
Yes, correct.
Is that the only instance, Valde?
I'm sorry?
That is the only instance where a private citizen donated?
Yes.
Goods with services?
And I will have all the, I currently have all the documentation in my possession.
And Judge, Commissioner, just for the record, those donated services have nothing to do with
No,
the emergency
no.
transfer. I just want to
No,
make clear
because,
that
Ashford
that
wanted
these
me to
repairs,
charge
yes.
them, and I said
Right, no.
That's correct.
Two separate, and thank you for bringing that up. Those are two separate issues.
Yeah.
Again, this
All
was a donation by Commissioner, has nothing to do with what Sergio's talking about. And again, Judge, I will have that proper agenda item for
All
the
right,
next one.
we need a motion to approve item 10A of our consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, again, for the record, the summary of those transfers are included on the agenda in the packet, and if there's any individual questions regarding any individual transfer, we'd be more than glad to visit with them.
All right, item number 6A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Annette Muñiz, Chief Deputy for Arturo Guajardo Jr., Hidalgo County Clerk. We are here in regards to the selection of the Grievance Committee under Local Government Code 152. As you may recall, we have several of the county elected officials that serve on this board, but we also need 3 from the public. And just for the record, the elected officials are the sheriff, the county tax assessor collector, the county treasurer, the county clerk, the district clerk, the county attorney or criminal district attorney. And then we also need to select 3 members from the public. The county judge is the chairman, but he is not entitled to vote. So we need to select 3 members along with 5 alternates.
Judge, do you mind if I go ahead and just select?
No, go ahead, please.
So we're going to do the 3 first?
The 3 members that have been selected is Linda Garza Elizondo from McAllen, Nidea Elizondo from Edinburgh, and Maria Isabel Gomez from Alamo. Those are the 3 members that have been selected. Letters will be going out to them, letting them know. In the event that they reject, then we go to the alternates. And the 5 alternates are Ralph Garcia from McAllen, Stephen Cruz from Edinburgh, Maria N. Paz from Donna,
It's
Jose Mike Cano from FAR, and Elsa Wittenberg from McAllen.
What's the name from Edinburgh?
Wittenberg?
Okay.
Wittenberg?
All right, you
Need a
need a
motion?
motion to approve the,
Move for approval.
Second.
those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Item number 7, our tax office. Good morning, Mr. Barriat.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Our item is the presentation for discussion and consideration, acceptance and approval for the agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the State of Texas Registration and Title System Amendment. Reflects 6 additional systems. 4 RTS systems will be placed with the 1 system approval under the Fair Share Program at the new office in Elsa. And the 2 other systems will be placed in the Edinburgh office for the increased verification of inspections resulting from the 1 Secret program. So I come here for an approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 8, Mr. Guerra. We'll come back to item 8.
Valde.
He's got it.
He's back.
Item 8A, 1, 2, and 3, there is no action today.
All right.
Item 8B for NACO, National Association of Counties. Judge Commissioners, there is a seminar that is coming up. So with that being said, there's always a delegation vote at this conference, and so I'm asking the court to appoint our County Judge Ramon Garcia as our voting delegate and appoint Mr. Larry Gallardo, our Precinct 3, as the alternate voting delegate to the NACO conference. For the record, Constable Gallardo sits on behalf of Hidalgo County under the TAC administration or voting board. And so that's why we ask that Mr. Gallardo be our alternate to the NACO meeting.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is, well, let me do the others first before we go to item C. Item D is, we've already
Take care of
discussed.
that one, yeah.
Item E is under environmental compliance. Judge Commissioners, I'm asking to authorize the signature of our county judge, Ramon Garcia, on the voluntary revocation of permit form for the municipal solid waste permit number 2102 for a solid waste processing site on Davis Road in precinct number 4, at our precinct number 4 facility that has been inactive since 2000. This form will complete the state closure requirements for that facility.
Do you need action for this, Valde?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under environmental compliance as well, I'm asking authorization for our county judge to sign the notices of intent and core data forms for the county citizens collection station as required under Chapter 30 of the Texas Administrative Code, which is subchapter 330.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G is discussion, approval, and authorization for our county judge to sign our earnest money contract and all closing documents, including but not limited to the acceptance of drainage easements and construction easements. All
Move for
appropriate.
approval.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H, I'm asking the court to accept the settlement check for Fred Loya Insurance Company in the amount of $880, and this will settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Going back to item C, is this, and this again is for discussion purposes only. We have discussion of county services to include but not limited to tax collection, vehicle registration services in the city of McAllen. Judge Commissioners, this has been a topic of discussion over the past few months, and actually this was something we were working towards last year. Again, this is discussion with respect to the tax collection, vehicle registration services that at one time were in the McAllen area, but we did have issues with the building that is owned by the county, and so then Precinct 2 Commissioner at the time, Palacios, when he constructed the Precinct 2 administrative offices, there was a section there for the tax collection, vehicle registration, but again, we go back now to the issue of that service with the largest municipality in the county and what we can do to get this project moving along further than where we're at. We have had numerous meetings with Commissioner Cantu. We've had meetings with city leaders, Jim Darling, the mayor. Commissioner Precinct 4 has been with us at these meetings. Mr. Roy Rodriguez, the city manager. Again, we've had discussions with the tax assessor collector, Mr. Paul Villarreal, with respect to this project as well. And again, I bring it before the court so we can discuss it a little further and see what the overall project and where we're headed. Again, I think ideally down the road, it would be ideal to look at the renovation / construction addition to the location that we had at the time we were providing these services. But again, that's something that we're working with the budget office for financing plan.
I was just thinking, what about the building we bought where the safety is at, that 4,000 square foot shell?
No, that, Commissioner, that would not work because of the way it's configured. It would take, we would literally have to gut it.
No, well, it's shell, it's only a shell.
Well, but that side of the shell, actually currently we're using that right now for the.
Storage?
Right. So, but no, that location itself, Commissioner, is not ideal. It truly is not ideal.
But what about the one we talked about, Plains Capital Bank?
Parking would be an issue, sir.
They never dropped their price.
That's why it's not ideal.
They're at 850,000.
Oh.
We're looking at like 350.
Valda, did we receive a letter from the mayor?
Yes.
Related to the ex?
Yes, we did receive a letter from the city of McAllen, specifically the mayor and the city manager of McAllen, addressing the issue of the need for those services, one, and two, the fact that they were offering the old McAllen Police Station, or what we known as the PD offices, to the County of Hidalgo for these services, and as well as any other additional services that we saw fit that we could accommodate in that building for our constituents.
And I had a meeting with Roy Rodriguez, city manager. Their frustration is that we've been at this for a year, and at
Yes.
one point, we went back and forth on like a lease agreement, and it seemed like just work out the lease agreement. I think there was an issue with the roof. We were gonna work that out, and then all of a sudden, we're kind of at the starting point again. I like to see, I kind of know where, I've spoken to you, I just kind of want to know where the tax assessor collector's office is at, what they're looking for, what's needed, because a couple of the issues he brought up were, I believe, non-issues. One of the items he brought up, I don't know if Mr. Villarreal would like to come up here so we could try to address this and get some of these things worked out. One of them was that there was a lack of commitment by your office or by us to not put in construction funds to remodel, and I've never heard that as an issue. And so I want to see how we can get this moving along. It's already been a year that we've been at this.
To remodel the old PD, the old police department?
Either that building or the building where we used to collect taxes at, which is right across from Palmer Pavilion.
Yeah.
How much
Right
would it
off
cost
of
to build a
Hackberry.
new one there? Huh? How much would it cost to build a new one there?
The original building. off
Where
of
at?
Hackberry.
There, but the Palm.
Oh, at Palmer?
Yeah.
Because we have the property to the south. I mean, you could probably, we were looking at one point 3,600 square feet, I believe, which was the old Plains Capitol
The
building.
old Plains Capitol building, right.
I mean, to build something like that, maybe 400,000. Or to remodel, it'd probably be about the same, but we already have
I mean, why remodel if you're gonna go ahead and, I mean, you can build a brand new one.
well, the only thing is if we had the property.
Right, but I think, and Mr. Vidal, correct me if I'm wrong, the original building that we had there in McAllen, the one south of the Palmer Pavilion, the space at some point became an issue, and that you had requested, or the administration prior had requested an expansion of that facility because of the way that it was set up. Obviously, we did have a couple of issues with the roof. I believe we did address it, but
The only thing that's different from the prior administration to now is that we also have City of FAR has a tax collection office. So
Yes.
if it was capacity, we've increased capacity countywide by having the place in FAR, so maybe we can look at the current existing building there on
existing
Hackberry.
building. Right.
Okay, my concern is always personnel. You know, I know that sometimes people think that once you open a Walmart here and open another one, that you got to bring in half of people from that place to the other one, and both of them are always full. In my case, right now, we have 568,000 registered vehicles. We get about 45,000 people plus per month. So when if we're going to open an office in McAllen, which I'm definitely want to do that myself. I definitely told the commissioner here that I'm ready to do that. The only thing is that you got to remember that there's about 120-some thousand people there. So you're going to have, I don't know, probably from 100 to 200 people per day in that office. Even if you have the one in McAllen, I'm sorry, in FAR, in Westlake, the people from McAllen are probably going to end up being there. So I can't take people away. I can't cut the service at precinct number 4, so I can put people over there and cut, different areas. I just got an additional 568,000 additional workload from the two-step, one-sticker program. And now that I only have to do the inspection, now that the only thing that I have to sell is the registration, not the inspection, well, I ended up with that 568,000. Now I'm getting more people coming in, and now I have to check for the inspection. If they don't have the paperwork, I have to log into another website so I can go ahead and make sure that they're inspected. And if not, I have to send them back and get them to get that inspection. They're upset. So what it's doing is bugging down my lines on the dealer side, on the actual just workload, because what happens is that they create a statute, and how many people did I get more for this additional duty? None. How much money did I get for budget? None. For postage, for envelopes, for paperwork, nothing. So sometimes when everybody else that doesn't do the work cannot see that I have another additional workload, and what it's doing is just bugging down my people. So if I'm going to stretch them out some more, it's a little bit harder. But like I said, I'm willing to see if, I was talking to Mr. Guerra, if they want to go ahead and remodel that building on Hackberry. At the beginning, I didn't want it because it's just a patch, you know. That building's been there since probably 1972. So I had submitted a sketch to Mr. Commissioner Cantu to see if we can build a state-of-the-art building for the future, because McAllen, it's a large city, and hopefully in the future we can provide that services. I wanted to see if we could provide the services for scofflaw, express lanes, for the dealers, for the tax, for the regular registrations. That's what I want. But if we end up trying to open an office in McAllen, I said, well, at least we can start maybe with just the renewals. Because in the old that location that they were proposing on Pecan, it only had about 28 parking spaces in the front. So can you imagine if 50 vehicles or 50 people come in, they're going to be complaining because there's no parking space. And then at the same time, you have to look at and see how many people I'm going to have working there. Because some people have to go to lunch, some people might be sick, some might be on vacation. So if you have 5 employees and 2 of them are out, then somebody's going to be balancing, somebody's going to go to the bank, and it gets a little bit where my only concern is trying to see if we can get together and agree on how many employees we can try to start with, and I'll be happy with that. You know, I'll let you know that I'm here to do customer service for our taxpayers, and the only thing is always, if you can fix the building and make sure that you put it to where the main thing that I want in every building is our camera system. You know, we're like a bank. I collect over a year's worth over $1 billion. So if our cameras are not working, that concerns me for the security of the people that are in the building and for my employees. And that's one of the things that if we're going to go ahead and open another one, the main concern is always putting cameras. And I think we're working already with Mr. Cruz, Sergio Cruz on that, and Mr. Guerra's office. But like I said, we can discuss it some more. I'm open to anything, and I just want to let you know pretty much where I'm at. I'm a little bit overstrapped here with more workload, but let's sit down and see what we can do. I really want to help one of the biggest cities in the county, which is McAllen, and if we can open it and agree to where we have enough employees to make sure that we man that office, then I'm okay with that. I just don't want to hear complaints where somebody's calling me that you're short on staff. You know, if I have 30 people and I only have 2 people in line there because some of them are to lunch or some are sick, the people don't understand that, you know, that I only have so many. They want that service, and I definitely want to make sure that I give them that service. So, and sometimes right now, if anybody's out in the Mission office, if somebody's out in Westlaco, if somebody's out in the Alamo or Edinburgh, I got to get people and send them everywhere. And that's something and now another thing too is that before the prior administration, tax office was tax office, motor vehicle was motor vehicle. Everybody just knew what to do in the motor vehicle side. When I came in, I started cross-training the people from tax and motor vehicle. So when we're short on motor vehicle, now we can handle it because I get my people from tax. Now they know tax and motor vehicle. That's additional workload. They didn't get any more, say, well, I'm going to learn something new. Am I going to get an additional salary? Nothing. It's just one of those things where I want to make sure that we provide the services that we need to. Right now, I'm about 6 or 7 people from tax helping on motor vehicle, where before they didn't know how to do motor vehicles. It was 2 separate things. And to me, it's just one office. So that's where I'm at right now. But like I said, I definitely want to open that office again. I think
the only problem, Paul, is it's been a year, and if the issues were this many issues, we're not narrowing them down. We're continuing to be the same place we're at. And so there's conversations going on here, but we're not narrowing down the issues. I'd really like to get to a point where we have 10 issues, and then we get to 9, 8, 7, until we get this thing constructed. Right. We're a year, like I said, it's been a year, and I think that we're exactly in the same place that we were a year ago. And so there's a willingness for me, and I have to meet with these individuals, and they pull everybody aside, and they start talking to me about something I have no control over. We need to compromise, we need to come to a solution and move that solution forward. So that's what I want to hear, is that we're going to work on the issues that we have and lessen them. Because right now, we're exactly where we were a year ago.
Yeah, of course, like I said, Mr. Guerra knows that my issue is personnel. That's what I need.
But
Right now,
You talked about maybe
building.
having less services. Well, let's check out, let's run with a smaller office and see what the needs are. I mean, right now, we don't
Well-
have anything in
Well,
McAllen. And we're
McAllen-
still functioning, right?
but McAllen should be the biggest, right now, for example, like in your precinct, I got you covered in the Alamo, San Juan, and FAR. You know, Commissioner over here, Flores, I think I only have Palmview. So I think we're doing a great job there. Like I said, I really want to open the one in McAllen. The only thing is that when somebody asks me to move people from one office, I had a judge last time telling me that, oh my God, I've been standing here for an hour. You see, but what happens is that nobody knows that we got an additional 568,000 workload. And at that point, I'm saying, well, wait a minute, why did they create a law, and now I have to workload my people with the same salary, and everybody else is doing fine because we're the main source of revenue?
That's a new issue, man. Let's lessen the issues. Look at this. When you used to get your driver's license, you'd go to DPS on 495 and Bicentennial, and you'd have to sit there and wait 2 or 3 hours. If you went to Edinburgh, there was nobody there was no lines. It's the same thing. We're going to have the same issue. You may have a lot of people in McAllen, but you're going to have less people in the other areas.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Let's try to find a way to get.
Well, personnel is my issue, the only thing that I would like to see right.
But we need to work on that. You know, if you want 10, let's work on maybe a little bit less,
Well,
more than they were offering.
No, I
And
did,
like
I did. I even offered Mr. Guerra here, I said, well, I need so many people, but if we can start with less, then I'm gonna put more work and load on them.
Maybe narrow the services so that you can start with less
Well,
and see what the demand is.
I
See what it does to your other locations. Maybe in my own precinct, you'll see the need to move some of those people to McAllen, and I'll be ready and willing to do that and support that.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that what I would like to do is start with renewals only, okay? I'm not gonna do any title transfers, I'm not gonna do any tax. Let's try it out. I said, if you give me so many people, not the ones that I wanted, so many people, and maybe we can give them a little bit, extra because of that workload that they're gonna have, then we can start right there. We already discussed this before. I think what we need to do is, aside from here, let's get together, all of us, and figure out what we need to do and go
I think
forward.
we need to get together here is Valde, yourself, and Commissioner Cantu, and really, get to work on it and see what we can do on it.
Yeah, let's work on something where in 30 days, we'll come back here and we'll have less issues and be closer to
Sure,
opening
no,
up
no.
this place in McAllen.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm here to make sure that we provide the services. But the thing is that, like you said, it's just been discussed, and I said, well, call me in, let's get together and discuss it, right? Because if anybody else is making decisions aside from my office, and I don't agree with it because somebody wants to see if I can cut services in one area and swap them somewhere else.
Nobody's doing that, Paul. We need you. We're going to follow your lead, right? But we're ready and willing to work. So let's sit down and let's work in that direction. We can't, neither one of us knows what it takes to run your office. So we need you at the table.
Definitely.
Let's work on something ASAP and get something back up here in 30 days.
Sounds good. Mr. Valde, put the meeting together and we'll get together. I think that's what we were lacking because we're supposed to get together, but if we get together with you and say, look, this is what we need.
I've been to every meeting for the last 12 months, so I just want to make sure that.
Yeah,
we
well,
move forward.
you'll be surprised that one time I was never invited to those meetings. One time I was invited to the meeting and they were putting that thing together in Pecan. And they were saying, well, we're going to do this and do that. I said, well, wait a minute. I don't know if they're going to open it themselves or they're going to ask me to help them out because I'm since I'm the tax assessor collector. But those are the things that we need to get together, invite me, and then I'll be there. And definitely, like I said, I saw Mayor Jim Darling over July the 4th. Every time I see him, Paul, when are we opening? And I said, well, I told him, I said, the commissioner Cantu called me, and he wants to start, looking at it, and I said, I want to do the same. The only thing is that as long as we compromise and what I need is just to get it going, I'll be happy and let's get it done.
We'll do that. Okay. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Judge, we're at item 9.
Our
9A.
HR.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item 9A, under the CSA program, Community Service Agency, requesting waiver of budget amendment policy personnel-related amendments. Discussion, consideration, and approval of the following personnel actions effective next pay period of 7/13/2015. Delete slot 2, program specialists, budgeted at $64,917, and to create slot 43, manager administrative operations, and budgeted salary at $62,000. And number 3, approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court action.
It is going to be to help Jaime?
I'm sorry?
It's going to be to help Jaime out or what? Jaime? Is it going to be to help you?
Yes, sir, Commissioner. It's the number 2 person in the agency.
Okay, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under 9B, Precinct 2 Sanitation Road Maintenance, requesting waiver of the budget amendment policy, personnel-related amendments, approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period, 7/13/2015. Delete under Program 122001, Slot 3, Attendant 3, budgeted $28,247. Reclass, you want me to read them all? Or take one at a time?
Steve.
Well, it's on the agenda, so anybody has an agenda can see what's on there.
All right, so you don't have to read them?
You don't have to read them.
I'm sorry?
You don't have to read it.
I don't have to read them
We
all?
approve of 1 to 4.
We approve all of them.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Does that also include 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
3 and 4.
Thank you very much.
They want you off the podium.
You're good doing your own step grade, is what it amounts to, right?
Got them at level with the rest of the precincts, más o menos.
Item 10, our Health Department.
Good morning.
Good
Item
morning.
10A, requesting approval of Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department to participate in the Texas Revenue Generation Learning Collaborative sponsored by the Texas Department of State Health Services. The purpose of this project is to improve local health department systems for revenue generation. There is no fiscal impact. This would be for Eddie to participate, and it's a 15-month commitment.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
10B, requesting approval to submit grant application for the DSHS Community Preparedness one-time funding opportunity in the amount of $77,344. The 10% cash match has already been budgeted.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C1, there is no action. Item C2, A, discussion, consideration, and approval to draw down funds for demonstration year 2 and 3 DSRIP in the amount of $9,699,734.21, and DY4 DSRIP monitoring in the amount of $82,296.71 from the Local Provider Participation Fund. HHSC requires that 2 separate transactions be submitted into TextNet no later than July 7th, with a settlement date of July 8th.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2B is the approval of the certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor from the Local Provider Participation Fund in the amount of $9,782,030.92.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2C is approval of the 2015 appropriation of funds from the Local Provider Participation Fund in the amount of $9,782,030.92 for demonstration year 2 and 3 DSRIP and DY4 DSRIP monitoring.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D1, there is no action. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 11, our Community Service Agency.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Jaime Longoria with Community Service Agency. Item 11A1, discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept the neighbor-to-neighbor program agreement for electric home energy assistance. And number 2 is authorization for the county judge to sign the appropriate documents. This agreement is with 6 electric companies who provide up to $80,000 per year in private funding for us to do to provide assistance to Hidalgo County low-income residents.
So actually, this is additional funding, right?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Item 12, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 12A is requesting the approval of the subrecipient agreements with the following nonprofit agencies for year 28, which becomes effective for us July 7th through May 31st. Nuestra Clínica del Valle will receive $36,000, Open Hand $17,500, and Proyecto Azteca $10,000. We're requesting your approval for these.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is requesting your approval for the subrecipient agreements. Arise should receive $10,000, Boys and Girls Club of Alamo and San Juan $61,500, Boys and Girls Club of Edinburgh $53,000, Boys and Girls Club of FAR $20,000, Boys and Girls Club of Mission $41,400, and the Girl Scouts of the Greater South Texas $11,250.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is the approval of the subrecipient agreements with the following nonprofits: Amigos del Valle $63,400, Camp University $16,500, Casa Vidalgo $48,500, Children's Advocacy Center $82,500, Easter Seals $8,000, and the Food Bank of RGV $42,426.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D is requesting the approval of the subrecipient agreements with the following nonprofits: Hope Family Health Center, $21,500. La Unión del Pueblo, Lupe, $35,303. Women Together Foundation, $41,400. Rio Grande Valley Literacy Center, $16,000. Senior Community Outreach Services, $45,500. And the Lower Rio Grande Development Council Metro Transportation System, $88,500.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E is approval of the Emergency Solutions Grant Program subrecipients for year 2015. The subrecipients to receive this funding are Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley with $209,484.05. Women Together Foundation, $179,075.07. The Salvation Army, $236,514.25, for a total amount of $625,073.37.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024A for professional engineering services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
F2 is a presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the three engineering firms that were evaluated. This project is the General Land Office project for the Penitas Drain. The three firms evaluated were LNG Engineering with a grade of 95.33, Robert Kistner Consultants with a grade of 89, and Terracon with a grade of 85. Would you like to rank them in that order?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Our final item is the authority to negotiate a professional engineering service contract with the number one ranked firm of LNG Engineering, and this is for the provision of environmental engineering services for the Penitas Drain.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 13, Precinct 3.
Good morning. Item 13A, number 1, requesting approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo, the City of Mission, and the City of McAllen in connection with certain Phase 2 improvements to Taylor Road from US 83 Expressway North to Mile 2 North.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, in accordance with Section 791.010 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement project with certain Phase 2 improvements to Taylor Road from US 83 Expressway North to Mile 2 North.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 14, Budget.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 14A1 is approval of 2015 unappropriation of funds in the amount of $408,777.40, and this is for the County Clerk's Record Management Fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 14A2 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds in the amount of $333,500 to fund the restoration and preservation of Hidalgo County Clerk's Historical Records book project.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15, purchasing.
Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department, 15A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is the presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking. There were 6 nominated firms. As you can see, it was L&G, Half and Associates, Dos Logistics, Dannenbaum Engineering, Tedzi Infrastructure, and Javier Hinojosa Engineering. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And C is authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the number 1 ranked firm of L&G Engineering.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, this is the one, Joe, that I talked to you about?
This is for the MPO and the RMA
Right.
representation.
There's a concern as to whether or not we actually need an engineer on the RMA. I know when we did it, Godfrey was the director, and he was not an engineer, but Mr. Pilar Rodriguez is. And I visited with him. He's willing to come in and every meeting and tell us what the RMA has done and what the status is. I'm not sure if we then need to hire an engineer to attend the RMA meetings. Clearly, the MPO requires technical engineering assistance, and we are a voting member at the MPO, so it's important that our representative be up to speed and have any information, any technical assistance that an engineer can provide. But and the RMA, all we're really getting is a report back as to what action was taken, who made the motion, who seconded it, and what they're doing.
Who gives us that right now, Judge?
I believe it's L&G does it for both, and they got the highest ranking to do it again. So the issue is not, really are they able to or qualified. The issue is, do we really need them?
Well, what I can do, we can approve it, subject to, if we think we don't need them, we can go ahead and do away with it, or what?
Yeah, we can do that, and you can visit with the commission.
Unless, if I might interject, do you want me at the point of negotiating to ask them to separate the two, and you would depend on the final agreement?
Yeah,
which one?
That'll be better.
Okay.
Separate it.
Because the traffic studies you need, so that's a component that would have to stay in.
Yeah.
If they would give me, if we can propose something on each one of the organizations, and at the time of the final agreement, you can decide what you want to carve out. If you don't want the MPO representation, we remove that.
The RMA.
Or the RMA, either one.
No, we need them at the MPO. The
I'm sorry.
RMA is the one that's an issue.
Yes, vice versa. Yes, sir.
Marty, who evaluated, who graded these proposals?
Pardon me?
Who graded the proposals?
It was the members of the designees of the court.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, those who had been selected. I don't believe you were here at that meeting, by the court.
The only thing, I think the best thing to do is just separate them.
That's it. Two separate contracts.
And we can bring 2 separate agreements, and then you decide which one you want to.
All right.
So will that be the motion, I guess?
Well, maybe you can give them one contract, but when you give them the work authorization, you only authorize them to attend on behalf of the MPO?
I think what they want to do is carve one of them out if possible, so we could have 2 agreements. They'll decide which one they're going to keep.
Yeah, Mr. Crane prefers 2 separate contracts. That's really what we ought to do. That way there'll be
Right.
clarity.
You know you have one standalone, whichever one you want, or both.
Okay.
Okay? Going on to item 2.
Oh, we still need to vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
C.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting authority to advertise and approve to auction abandoned and unclaimed items. as described on the auction list number 36, pursuant to the Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 18.17.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is requesting authority to advertise abandoned and unclaimed items. State of Texas Department of, it's DPS, set forth under the same code.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
3 is approval for Hidalgo County and all elected offices, departments, and programs or agencies through all funding sources for the PEPM National Cooperative. This is another avenue and resource for the county to be competitively compliant with items or services that we may need.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 is approval to execute letters of authorization. There's a sample attached for the purposes of including as an exhibit for the approaching procurement of the new electric energy provider.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under B1, Precinct 1, approval of work authorization number, actually, I'm making a correction. It's work authorization number 4. It shouldn't be number 6. There's some confusion because there were some authorizations under the Urban County Program, so this should be number 4, and they are going to submit the correct document, titled the correct number. Under Contract 309 with Millennium Engineers Group Incorporated, $8,818. And this is through assigned requisition 279-811 for the provision of construction materials testing for the 18th Street project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, item B2 is the approval of professional appraisal services. This is with George Jaime Salazar II, DBA Appraisal House. This is for appraisal services. It's for the fair market value appraisals in connection with the acquisition of lands, rights-of-way, easements, condemnations, and disposition of county-owned properties located within Hidalgo County Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under Precinct 2, Item 1, this is requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization number 3 with an estimated cost of $25,985.16 as submitted through LNG Engineering Contract Number 125 to provide geotechnical, field laboratory, and engineering analysis for the Boys and Girls Club and Aquatic Park projects.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is acceptance and approval of work authorization 2 with an estimated cost of $35,011.16 as submitted by project engineer LNG for the engineering services for the feasibility study for the Boys and Girls Club and Aquatics Park natatorium located within Precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is requesting approval to utilize a submitted subcontractor in the work authorization,
Move for
which is
approval.
an architectural firm.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Marty, on item number 2, they're going to solve the whole thing or just a portion of the,
Just the feasibility study on an actual structure
okay,
only. Yes, sir. It's specific to that only.
thanks.
Item D for WIC, this is pursuant to the specifications presenting a request by the lessor with concurrence and recommendation by Norma Longoria, Director of the Hidalgo County WIC Program, to amend the newly executed lease agreement between R Real LLC to reflect the following provisions. 1 is the extension of the commencement date from July 1st to August 1st, 2015, to occupy the building, and 2, the expiration date from July 31st to 2018 to September 30th, 2018, so as to coincide with the funding cycle of the WIC program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item E is the approval of the final negotiated services agreement with Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson. This is for legal services collection of delinquent court fees, fines, and related court costs. This is phases 1 and 2 for Hidalgo County.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
This time pursuant to Government Code Sections 551071 and 072, I need a motion to proceed to
Move for
executive
approval.
session. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We will be in executive session. It's 10:58.
So you have your folder, Doug? Okay, why do I hear you over, the mic's on over there or something? Why do I hear you over here?
All right, we're back in open session.
Thank you, Judge.
It's 11:40.
Under open session, real estate acquisition, appropriation for same, no action. B, pending potential litigation, no action. Item C is Jurado versus Hidalgo County et al. There's no action to be taken today. Claim of Magic Valley Electric Cooperative. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $2,005.70.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Claim of Domingo Sierra and Maria Sylvia Sierra. Judge Commissioners, I'd like the court to entertain a motion in settlement of this claim for the total amount. This does involve our insurance carrier of $33,000. If the court does take action, I'd like to put on the record that there would be two checks, $17,500 to Domingo Sierra, Maria Sylvia, and the Macias Law Firm, and a second check, for the record, of $15,500 to Maria Silva Sierra and Domingo Sierra and the Macias Law Firm, for a total of $33,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, we do have an addendum. It's 11:42, and the addendum is to go back into closed session. And it would be deliberation regarding economic development negotiations pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, and that would be Project Eagle. So if we could have a motion to go back into closed session.
Make a motion to go into
Yes.
executive session.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Steve.
We need a motion.
You need a motion, Valderon?
No.
No.
Move for
We
approval.
need a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Malde, when is the next meeting and where?
July 21st is our next meeting.
At?
No, it will be here. It will be here.
That's what you said. You said,
No, I know, but we did not place, just so that the court knows, there was there was a HVA issue that with one of our, with the mechanical, and so we've been addressing that for the last week and a half.
we'll just do it January 1st.
January 1st. And Judge Commissioners, we had scheduled for the 21st a workshop, joint workshop with the City of Edinburgh, so we could continue and discuss and finalize some issues with the courthouse project, but there's a conflict in scheduling, and so the plan is to have it on the 28th, the workshop, the 28th. So we would have a Commissioners Court on the 21st, and then just a workshop the following week with the City of Edinburgh.
On what?
On Tuesday. Okay? All right.
That one.
Thank you.